Look, when was the last time you procrastinated on your work or anything it is? I believe most people would say their studies in school or there's like the books you have to study for the exams. I believe that most people procrastinated on the studies that they had to do because the reason is it is so boring. Like everybody would say it's very boring to study because literally nobody is interested in school anymore. Everybody's playing video games, like fapping and doing all of the bad habits and like watching YouTube and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Everybody has okay, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people have short attention spans now. And they would tell us we are special when we are not. We are literally unique. Like, everybody is similar to each other. Like literally, my classmates, the most disciplined one, the one who never procrastinates is is literally the first honor, the one who is like at the top, the highest grade. He's the only one who doesn't procrastinate. Like whilst everybody else ranks second to below to high to the highest, like rank second till the rank 10 or something. Everybody else procrastinates because they are friends with the first honor. Like they would literally something super it's just super embarrassing is that they would all procrastinate and they would all go for the first honor because they're friends with the first honor, and the first honor is like a shy guy, a little bit of a shy guy. They would go to him and they would literally copy his notes or his assignment. Like let's say the teacher gave us an assignment. He immediately does it. Well, tomorrow, because it's due tomorrow, the second honor would literally come for him and ask him for his assignment. Like he would copy that assignment. They she the second honor would literally not just the second honor, everybody else around the first honor, everybody else around him would copy his work, his assignment, and the teacher doesn't give a like the teacher doesn't care at all. Like that's literally how harsh it is. Like that's school right now. That's how my school works right now. And that makes everybody procrastinate even more. Except that when it's exams time, they are different. They're separated chairs, but of course the dumbest students ever are literally seated next to him. So they get the dumbest students who probably don't even study literally gets a high grade just because they are sitting next to the first honor. Like the teacher doesn't care if they started questioning each other. The teacher just doesn't care anymore. That makes me sad. I worked hard on this exam and they literally just straight up copy his work from the exam papers. So what the story is usually about, the reason I'm telling you this story is because we procrastinate on our studies. Our mostly reasons was literally just scrolling on TikTok, and we would rather watch videos and watch YouTube videos and play video games, of course. We would rather do all of those things rather than to study. Even though we know that we really, really need to study, our brain is literally just, we just automatically get hooked and get addicted to the internet. Like, we would just straight up get back to it. We would try to study, but then we would feel the urges, and since we have since since you have zero willpower, you would literally immediately go back to your phone instead of going to the book and studying. Like if you have zero willpower, of course you would straight up because you have no self control. Sometimes you just gotta force it. Sometimes you just gotta force yourself to actually do something. And that is like, let's say tomorrow you have you have an exam tomorrow, and like you don't feel like studying. Like this is related to discipline. You just gotta force yourself to actually study like before the timer runs out. Like you just gotta do it, even though it's just for a little bit, like just one subject. Like at least make it a little bit easier so that your procrastination can be a little bit better or less effective. Like you would procrastinate less if you think, oh yeah, I will only study like one subject instead of three. Because let's say you say to yourself, I'm gonna study three subjects today because like I mean tomorrow. Let's say you say, I'm gonna study three subjects today because that's the last day before the exam. Like when you say it like that, you're literally like, or like let's say I'm gonna study like the three subjects immediately the first thing after I went home. Now, the thing about this is that if you have a strong discipline and willpower, of course you're gonna succeed at that. But if you're literally like new and you still scroll on TikTok, YouTube, or like play video games, and you have short attention span, lack of focus, of course you're not gonna do it. Your brain is like, wait, three subjects? Isn't that too much? I feel so tired right now. I'm just gonna go sleep and like scroll on TikTok, pretending to sleep. Like that's literally how it works. So for the easiest, for the non-disciplined ones, they like this is just a tip for them. Like this for the short term. While the long term is basically like you gotta force yourself completely to do three subjects at once. That's for the long term. For the short term, for like the level ones, because like you can't just straight up go for the level 10 when you're literally like a level 1 noob. You're like you're still like it's like video games. You're still a level 1 noob. Like example this the subjects. One book or like one subject to study is like level 1, and like level 5 is three subjects at once. You would study three subjects at once. That's like level 5. You need some really high energy and high discipline and willpower, which is why you need to level up first. So you gotta start off with the easy one, the level 1, because one subject per day. Because your brain would feel more tempted to do it because, oh yeah, it's just one subject. Let's go do it. I mean, it's literally just one subject. But the thing is, even when like that, there are still people who still wouldn't be able to do it because they kind of got too addicted that to the point where they literally don't even study anymore. They just don't care anymore. They just straight up ignore their like their goals. They would straight up ignore their goals. I still matter about my goals of course. Like they literally just don't even study anymore. So if you are still like procrastinating, you gotta like make it a little bit easier for your future self. Like let's say your plans for tomorrow was to study only one subject. I mean to study three subjects. Your plan for tomorrow was to study three subjects, even though there's still 3 days before exam. If there's still 3 days before exam, you gotta study one subject only per day, because like because you're still at level 1. And like if you forcefully do it, the more you forcefully do it to yourself, the more you forcefully like, let's say, the more you forcefully like open the book and like study like one subject, the more you do it, you would end up doing two subjects and then straight up, yeah, that was easy. Two subjects is easy now after like a while. You study only one subject, forcefully do it. Oh yeah, that was great. It was not that bad. It wasn't that boring. Then the next day, you studied one subject again and you're like, oh wait, And like if you keep on doing this, you would feel this like you would feel this level up where you just studied one subject, and then tomorrow you just straight up studied one subject, and then like you studied the second subject but half only, because you've leveled up, and then the next day you studied two subjects for the test, and now it's then the next day is test time, which is good. Like, but there is also like test times, like I mean exams time, where like tomorrow you gotta like tomorrow you gotta study for the test, because tomorrow's literally like the day of the test already. So it's more like you forcefully study, like let's say after the first day of the exam, immediately tomorrow you're gonna have another exam, right? That means you gotta forcefully do it yourself. Like that's like quite the last resort, because you gotta do it forcefully. Now you gotta study like three subjects at once now, because because the because you may have procrastinated, but like if you had leveled up, you like studied the subject first. Like if you had leveled up the forcefully studying, if you had leveled it up until to the point where you study like three subjects at once, that would have been easier. Like if you don't get what I'm saying is basically, if you had like done the first day, like 3 days before exam, the first day you studied one subject, then the second day you studied one and a half subject, and then the next day you study two subject, because you've leveled up and you like, yeah, it's easier, and it gets, yeah, like this is too easy, let's hop on to the next one already. Like that's literally how it works. And basically if you had done that, then studying three subjects a day would become like, you gotta reach that point where studying three subjects is easy for you. Like that's like a long term strategy that would mostly stop you from procrastinating on your exams, and it would give you a high grade on your school. If you want to support me, you can subscribe. Keep on improving in life, bro.